Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a MAC Monday, which is a new thing that I'm going to be doing on my channel where every Monday will be kind of like a MAC focus video. Since I do work for MAC and a lot of the makeup that I do use and wear and have is MAC, I thought it's a great thing to share my knowledge about it. And I am a bit of a MAC nerd, so I thought that'd be kind of fun. My flashback fashions are still coming. I'm now making them like a flashback fashion Friday. So they're going to be uploaded on Fridays. Both the Monday videos and the Friday videos aren't always going to be every single week, but those are the days that I'd be uploading them. And then on Wednesdays I'll do like anything that's like miscellaneous, so kind of like a whatever Wednesday plans. They'll be kind of anything that isn't in those two categories will be on a Wednesday. So today I'm going to do MAC Monday. I thought it'd be fun to do kind of my current work makeup, and that sounds kind of a bit like boring, but just kind of showing you the kind of look that I've been doing at work recently. My eyeshadow tends to vary from day to day, so we do different focuses every week, and sometimes I just want to do something different each day, and depending on what collections we have will depend on what I wear, so that's kind of the only real variant. That and like my lips, like the colour products, but the base products are usually the same, so today I'll just kind of do my basic base and then whatever I kind of fancy on today. So let's get started. I've already like cleansed my skin, so I'm going to start off with essential oils, which is one of my favourite products from MAC. If you have dry skin, essential oils is a key. They do essential oils in just the basic oil, and then they also do it in a stick form, which is more kind of like a balm. That's nice if you like something a little bit more controlled. Some people don't really like the sensation of oil on their skin, the kind of layer, whereas the oil stick is nice for just certain areas. If you get quite dry in certain areas, it's quite nice to just pop it on. But if you like to mix things as well, I prefer the like liquid essential oil, because I like mixing it in with like my foundations and things. You can mix it in with pigments. I really like mixing it with platinum pigment because it kind of becomes like a liquid metal. It's really pretty. So I've got all that over my skin. I kind of use it almost like a serum. I don't really like gel-like serums. I much prefer oils, so I kind of use it like that. I go through it really quickly though. That's the only thing. I wish it was like a much larger bottle. It is it's 14ml. I just wish it was kind of a larger bottle, so I didn't have to go through it so quickly. Next I'm going to use my Lightful moisture cream. Yeah, moisture cream, which is the one that's in the tub. It's kind of like a thick, kind of creamy gel. Ooh, almost dropped it. And the Lightful range is basically a kind of skin evening brightening type range. So it's really good if you have pigmentation, discoloration, that kind of thing, but I also really love it because they tend to be very hydrating, and it's also really nice and lightweight on the skin. So for my eyes I'm just going to use a bit of Fast Response eye cream. This is a really nice eye cream. Like it says in the title, it's a fast response one, so it works well for like underneath makeup. It's not too heavy, so you can put makeup on straight after, and it's quite like blurring. It really fills in like it really fills in fine lines really well. It's also a really nice like multitasking product. I really like it to kind of clean up like your lip or like a liner or something. Just putting it on like a little bit like a flat brush and then just using it to clean up. Or if you get like watery eye syndrome, and like especially on like your lower lash line, and then you can't put product on top of it, like say you put an eyeliner on, you get the watery eye and then you get like a little gap of product. It's really hard to then put product on top of it, but if you put a little bit of this on, like kind of dry it off with a tissue, put a little bit of the cream on, and then push shadow right on top of it, it kind of works like a barrier, and then you can put product straight on. That's quite nice if you like take a lot of like Instagram photos or something, but your model might have like a bit of watery eye. It's quite a nice little quick trick to kind of save it. So now that the skincare is done, I'm going to move on to brows. My brows tend to kind of adapt day to day. I never really used to like doing my brows just because I found them quite difficult to get right. My brows have never really been like full enough that I'm really happy with them, but recently I've been really making an effort to grow them back, and they're getting there, but the tail ends tend to be the bit that kind of falls a bit flat because there's not a lot of volume there. I'm going to show you little tricks that I do. I'm not going to be using this today, but just to kind of mention it because I do really like it, is False Lash Maximizer. When I use this in brows, people are always like, what the hell? But basically it's a lash primer. It works really well for your lashes as well, like keeping a nice curl and getting a lot of volume. But I really like them for brows as well because it kind of works like a glue if you like really sticked up brows. I'm just going to kind of demonstrate on one brow and then I'll remove it. But if you just kind of brush it through, I've used this on people before and people kind of think it's going to go white because it is like a white tint, but it's kind of like whitish to clear, so it kind of makes them go a little bit light but not too much. But it's so like not sticky, but just has a lot of hold in it. It's almost like a hairspray, or like almost like hair gel or something, where it really has a lot of texture to it, but it gives you that most beautiful like fluff to the brow, can you see, and it gives a lot of texture and it really helps to keep them stuck up. So if you like that real kind of fluffy looking brow, or kind of like that soap brow kind of effect, these are really nice, and they lay really flat as well, which is nice if you like to block them out or if you do like to do kind of a redrawn brow. So I like that for more interesting, more textured kind of looks, or more kind of like runway looks. I like using that, but I'm not going to be using it today. So I'm just going to quickly remove that. Okay, I'm back. So I just quickly removed that. I just wanted to kind of show you it just because it is a really lovely product and not a lot of people know about it. For brows anyway, a lot of people know about it for the lashes, but I just wanted to kind of show you that I really like it in brows. But I'm not going to be using it today because I'm going to be showing some other products. So I'm just combing my lashes, my brows through with the brow styler. This is like the original brow, like eyebrows products that MAC had. It was just called Eyebrows and it was a twist up pencil, but they repackaged it and renamed it Eyebrow Styler. So you still have the twist up pencil style, but the original one couldn't twist back down. So a lot of people would like twist it up to see like if they had enough product, and then they wouldn't be able to twist it back down, and they kind of wasted a lot of product. But now you can twist it up and twist it down. But it's the same exact like formula and everything, and the size of the product is the same. It's like a really nice fine pencil, but you also have a brush on the end, which is really handy to just comb through them as you do them. So I'm just going to be using the brow pencil first. The way I've been doing my brows recently, I've just kind of been doing them quite light and fluffy, but quite bold as well in a way. Like I like them a little bit thicker than they naturally are. So I'm just going to start kind of like in the arch area because that's where I find the volume starts to lack. So I kind of start there. I do like short strokes across and gradually kind of bring it out. I've never really been that big a fan of doing like my own brows. I like doing other people's, but I've always found my own brows really like irritating because I've never really known the best products to use. But my friend Izzy, who also works at MAC, she's a brow queen. She's so good, and I've taken a lot of tips from her. And that's one of the big reasons I love working on counter, is that you just learn so much from each other. So you can see I'm kind of doing the top first because I like to keep the bottom quite floppy and I like seeing the texture, so I like to start with that first to get the main volume, and then I gradually work kind of in the middle of the brow and a little bit forward as well. But I like to do the really short strokes because I don't like it looking too blocky. I also get eczema and psoriasis, and I tend to get it a lot in my brows. Anywhere that's kind of like a scalpy texture, so I get it around here as well, where there's like baby hairs, and then I get it through my brows. So I tend to find that like just I get little patches of skin that flake off, which is really gross, but it does make it kind of difficult to do my brows. I also have scars on my brows. I have a scar here which is from chickenpox, and then I have some scars here and a little bit here from my eczema. They're kind of just texture scars, and product doesn't tend to stick as well onto scars, so that's why I like to keep them quite light and not as like blocky, just because it doesn't last on my brows. So I'm just blending them a little bit. So you can see they look a tiny bit thicker than this side, but that's mainly just because of the volume. I don't intend to kind of overdraw them too much, but I do like them looking nice and full. Just doing this side again, same thing. I'm keeping it really light and kind of not putting too much product on, especially where I have those scars, because I don't like caking it up with tons of product. Oh, the shaper that I use, by the way, is Stylized. I used to use Stud because that's like the exact colour of my hair, like a really blackened brown, but I find it's just too much in my brows. I don't like them being too dark. I used to like them being quite dark when I was younger, kind of like a Lily Collins brow, that real kind of dark and filled in brow, but I just don't think it works well on my face anymore. It's just a lot of work, and I prefer a slightly more like softer, like more beachy kind of brow. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I do. And as I go with like the other brow, I always like take a second just to make sure that they are looking nice and symmetrical. Brows are never going to look identical to each other, and sometimes brows that look almost like too identical look a bit weird. But it's nice to make sure that they're not two completely different shapes. Another product that I really love is the Shape and Shade Brow Tint. One side is kind of like a little sponge with powder on it, and then the other side is more like a brow brush. It's kind of like just like a tint. Sometimes I actually use just this product, like just use both sides of my brows if I want it like a really natural brow. But when I'm wanting it a little bit more dramatic, like for work, I tend to layer it up with the brow pencil. But I tend to just run a little bit just through the brows just to get a little bit of that texture, and I get a little bit more like on the arch of the brow. Oh, I use Taupe shade. Again, because it's so liquidy, I tried Spiked just because I want to see how the colour looked, but because it is so liquidy, the colour just kind of, it's too hard to control with the darker shade. I recommend going a little bit more fair with the brow on this pen, just because I think it's a little bit hard to control when you go a little bit too dark, and it tends to show up a little bit darker on your skin anyway. But yeah, I'm just running it through just to get a little bit of texture, not much. And then if you get a bit too much product at the base, I just go in with a spoolie just to soften it a little bit. And then, like I said, where I have my scars on the end, I'm just kind of making sure there's nice layered product there, just because that's the best way to prolong makeup, is to layer it up a bit more. Multiple thin layers last longer than fewer thick layers, just because they kind of set on top of each other, and they're much more cohesive and have a little more structure. Okay, so now that's on. Sometimes I go in with the powder on top of that as well, but I don't want them to be too heavy today. So next I'm going to just correct them a little bit before I put the gel on. So I'm just using a little my concealer. I'm using the 24-hour Studio Fix concealer. It's the most recent concealer release. I'm just going to use a MAC 195 brush. It's kind of like a really stiff flat brush. So I'm just going to take it just over my little scar. I don't like to conceal my brows like too much, like I don't like to carve them out the shape, but I do like to just clean up where I have my scars and a bit of uneven texture, just because it tends to make the brow look a bit messy. I tend to find the product will bleed into my textured skin on the scar, so if I put a bit of concealer there, it acts as a bit of a barrier. And I'll just finish it off with a bit of brow set clear, and I keep them kind of like more upturned. I tend to brush them upward, again just to add a bit of texture and fluffiness. That's my brows done. Several products just for brows. Next I'm going to do my eyes, and just put a little bit of eyeshadow primer on. Ooh. Okay, so this is my MAC palette. Ooh. It's like the double-sided one. I'm gonna use today, I think I'm gonna go for kind of like a sepia tone look, like a grungy kind of like mid-2000 Olsen twin kind of thing. So I'm gonna start off with a bit of Tete-a-tint. Use this one here. I'm going to pop that kind of in the socket of my eye, starting on the outer corner. I'm blending it inward. I'm using a 217 from MAC, but it's the old 217, the natural hair one. It's now in synthetic hair, which is still nice, but I just don't find it's as fluffy. It doesn't fluff up as much as the old ones do, which just gave the most perfect blend, so I don't tend to use it as much like for the same purpose. I tend to use more the new 224, which is more kind of tapered than the original 224. So it doesn't have like the same cut, but it has like a good amount of fluffiness, which is, so I tend to kind of use it how I used to use a 217. The new 217 I kind of use more for like concealer and like placing the product, not as much for like this kind of fluffy blend. I'm going to go in now with a bit of Uninterrupted, which is this one here. Both of these colours were discontinued but then brought back by popular demand, which is really great because Uninterrupted was one of my favourite shades of all time. It's just like the perfect kind of like sepia tone. And take a bit of Woodwing, which is this colour here. Pop that kind of on the lid. It's like a nice shimmery, like bronzy, like burnt tone, like got burnt gold. So it's not too bright. It's got a really nice tone to it. I really like it like all over the lid in the summer with like a blue line on the bottom. That's really pretty. Okay, so that is the top eyelid. And now I'm going to do the rest of the skin, and then I'm going to come back to the bottom eyelid just because I'm going to be taking it quite far down. So I don't want it to have to then put concealer over the top. So I'm just going to use a bit of my Fix and Perfect Pro from Rimmel. This is one of my favourite primers. So for foundation, I wear one of two foundations at MAC. Either my face and body, which is N1 mixed with white, which I just put into like one of these little travel containers to make it a little bit easier, or at Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof in NW13. But I'll always mix this with essential oils just because it's a bit too thick for my skin. Today I'm going with face and body just because it's a bit more suitable for my skin at the moment because it's extra dry since it's so cold. But this is what I do like to wear when I'm wanting a bit more of a fuller, more flawless coverage. So like I said, I just mix the two and put it in a bowl just so I don't have to keep like bringing both bottles out every day. So I have it nice and pre-mixed. And I'll literally just pop it on my fingers, dot it on, and I work it in with my fingers. I feel like with face and body, it just looks so good with your fingers, there's no point to use a brush. On other people I like to use a brush just because it's a little bit easier to work on, but on myself, like, it just, I like it really worked in, and the best way to do that is with your fingers, to be honest. But I know some people really like it with a brush, and that's great, but on myself, I can't. I just use my fingers. It just looks so good with fingers, so I don't see any point to use anything else. Next I'll go in with my Studio Fix concealer in NW10. I just do a couple of little dots around my eyes, a little bit around the nose, chin, and a little bit between the brows. Not a lot, I really don't like a lot of concealer. Where's my sponge? I tend to use just like a dry sponge. It's really stained, I'm sorry. But I like a dry sponge just because I feel like when I use a wet one it just kind of blends the colour, like the coverage away a bit. I'll use a damp sponge for like a foundation, like with the Pro Longwear Nourishing, but not so much for concealer with this. I like to kind of pack it on with a dry one. Right, we're going to return to the eyes. Use the same 217 with the Tete-a-tint. Just pop in that right under the eye, and I'm bringing it quite far down and then just connecting it with the end of the lid as well. So I'm just kind of hugging it against like the lower socket, so then it does kind of get that nice pull down effect. Now I'm going to take Uninterrupted and pop that a little bit closer to the lash line. I feel like I want to add a little bit of glitter just to make it a bit more fun, so I'm going to use one of these new shadows. It's called Make-A-Wish. It's a Shiny Pretty Thing formula. And it's from the new Christmas collection. Basically they're like pressed glitters. They're more like sparkly than the Dazzle shadows, which are a bit more metallic. So yeah, this is Make-A-Wish. It's kind of like a green colour. I'm just going to pop that right on the eyelid. Okay, so I've just done my mascara. I'm just going to go on a bit of matte bronze on my skin. This is a So Eco finishing brush. I really like it for bronzer because it's got a really good amount of fluff to it. I think people have like a bit of like a love-hate relationship with matte bronze. Like a lot of people like either adore it or they hate it because it's quite like sheer, but you can build it up. But the issue is that if you put any kind of moisture onto it, it will like film over because it's quite a hard pressed powder. So you've got to be careful that you're not like putting like any kind of oil onto your brush and then dipping it in here. This blush is bloody ancient, but it's still going and I still love it. It's one of the like blush creams, which was before Cream Blend Blush, which is now discontinued, so that's how old it is. But it's just like the most pretty tone. Ooh. I just love it. And then a bit of powder blush. This is also a pretty old blush. It's a Legendary from the Marilyn Monroe collection, but I love it. It's just like a nude peachy colour. Then for highlight, I'm going to use a bit of Silver Dusk Iridescent powder, which was discontinued and then it came back for a collection recently, so that's when I got a new one of it. This is the angled highlight brush from Real Techniques. I really love it. It's just like the most beautiful pearly highlight. I'm popping that on the cheekbone. I love it so much. It's like a nudie pink. And then just to make this look extra kind of warm and cozy, I'm going to add a few faux freckles with the brow tint pen. This is another thing that I love using this pen for. So what I literally do is just do very gentle little dots, and then after I do a few I just kind of pat it with my finger, just so then they kind of look a bit more skin-like. I don't know if you can see, I might zoom you in a little more. Then as I kind of press the product on my finger, and then I'm going to press it around. So it kind of does like a little print. So some of them are going to be more like opaque, some of them will be a little bit more sheer. I might use this new one, it's called Babetown from MAC. It's like the new one from the Shiny Pretty Things collection. I kind of describe it as if Modesty and Cream Cup had a baby. I'm going to lay that up with a little bit of warm ice from MAC. This is last year's Christmas collection, but it gives it a little bit like a golden shimmer. And that is like my current kind of makeup for work at the moment. Like I said, the colour products and everything kind of vary from day to day, but the base makeup and the kind of general principles that I use is pretty similar. So there we go, that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you do like this video, just give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, give me some feedback, and subscribe to my channel. This will be going up on a MAC Monday, and then like I said, Fridays will be my flashback fashion Fridays, and then Wednesdays will be other videos. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.